Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
How about a Thor spoiler up? You want that? You want that hot action?
You've demanded it, and you know there's only one person that could have done this.
Who's that laughing? Who's laughing? Who is playing a Marvel game on their phone before they did this?
And who called me and said, "You're going to do a spoiler ep, right? You're going to and
Can I be on? Can I be
yes,
on?
And I said, well, initially we had Jamie Flam.
right."
And
Jackie responded to that by, "Oh, you're going in a non-cation direction."
yeah, I saw her. We did a show together Thursday, and after the show, she was like, "Oh, I got to get going." As she was getting in her car, I could tell she was a little mad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. She was like, "No, you got Jamie. I'm not doing it. No, that's cool. I get it." I was like, "Oh, Kashian's a little ticked off that she's not doing the."
And then something happened to Jamie Flam, you guys. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys know
Weird.
this.
Yeah.
Weird.
Russian mafia. Flam
Armenian mafia.
Yeah.
had a little accident.
Got his knee hit with a crowbar.
That's weird. He fell down a
Exactly.
flight of stairs while Jackie was on stage in front of a couple hundred alibis.
Couple hundred alibis, you guys. That's the name of my next album.
Speaking of alibis, we have an ad read today.
What, you
we
son
have
of a bitch?
sponsor.
How could you possibly do that?
This episode is brought to you today by ZipRecruiter.
Oh, yeah.
Now, ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with just one click. Then ZipRecruiter puts its smart matching technology to work, actively notifying qualified candidates about your job within minutes of posting, so you receive the best possible matches. Look, you're looking for somebody for your job. You don't want to go through 1,000 job boards. You want to go through ZipRecruiter and have them do it for you.
Exactly.
But come on. You're not going to do it. We're not going to let you do it for full price. That would be crazy. You're a listener to this show. That means perks, especially if you're a hiring manager. You actually can go to ziprecruiter.com/CFN to try it for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/CFN. Try ZipRecruiter for free.
A lot of you guys run your own businesses. This is a great way to go find nice high-end talent. I made that sound creepy.
Yeah.
I sound like a guy running a strip club.
Nice high-end talent.
Nice
Yeah.
high-end talent. But ZipRecruiter.com could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Get the best people for your company.
You really should. Have them pre-screened.
You know? God, we always forget to do that.
I know.
I'm right here, guys.
Now we do that joke every time we have a ZipRecruiter ad. I like it.
So speaking of high-end, high-quality people and running your own business, don't we have something else to promote, Graham?
You know, Jamie Flam was going to be on the show to promote
until something happened to him.
something, well,
It is unfortunate, isn't it?
yeah, it's
But
weird.
here's the good news.
He has a Kickstarter.
There you go. You can support him and probably his medical bills.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
no. He's starting a new comedy and music venue.
It's fantastic. I actually, it's the Hayworth Theater, which is just sort of west of downtown LA. It's a really cool space. It was built in the 1920s. It is, and it's being remodeled. And so he's doing a Kickstarter for it. And it's called, if you just go to Kickstarter.com and then search Dynasty at the Hayworth, you can see, and they got 9 days left, and there's cool stuff. You can put money in, get your name on the wall. Like you've been to a theater and you'll see like donor wall. You could have your name on there. It's
You
gonna
get tickets to shows.
Yeah, Jamie Flam used to book the Hollywood Improv.
Right.
We all worked there. He was really cool. He was instrumental in kind of starting the lab and
Yep.
Curated talent.
yeah.
Yeah, and then he also had these weird secret shows where he'd wear a hat.
Yeah.
And there'd be music and stuff. So he's eclectic. He knows all different kinds of comics and musicians and performers and stuff. So I'm looking forward to the show at the Hayward. I mean, he'll put on some great shows at the Hayward.
I think
Yes.
that's sort of his vibe, and it didn't quite. I mean, it sort of worked with the Improv, but the Improv's pretty old school comedy club. He wanted like
More
this.
corporatized.
Yeah, he wanted like a music, different kind of artists, and I think this theater is the best thing for where his sensibilities, and he's been really good to so many of us, and so you got to back this, guys. If you can be a part of this cool theater, we're going to be doing comedy film nerd shows there. Jackie's going to be doing shows there. We're all going to be doing really interesting stuff. We've been talking about doing. We've been talking about doing comedy film nerd like live commentary shows.
Yes.
Like our version of MST3K basically. And I told him about that. He goes, yes, absolutely. So You guys are getting involved on a cool thing. So Kickstarter.com and then just search. It's got a really long URL. So just search Dynasty at the Hayworth and support Jamie Flam. They got 9 days left to make.
And what's their funding goal?
$100,000.
Well, it's not impossible if we did it.
We did it. These guys can.
Yep.
And you can do it at the last minute. So
and board games get $1 million. So everybody, throw some cash at this guy.
Board games get $1
board
million.
games do get $1 million. That's
$1
not even an
million.
exaggeration.
Not at all.
And I know they have good toy value, but just think of the toy value at the Hayworth with
Yes.
stand-up comics.
Yep. You're supporting really cool live performing in Los Angeles. So be a part of it.
Check it out. And there's only a couple days left.
Come on. 9 days.
So Thor Ragnarok, let's talk about it. First, let's talk about those stingers at the end. That's Thanos' ship, right?
That had to be. It would look
Had to
like
be.
his chin.
Right.
It was. I turned to Andy and I said, "That's Thanos' ship, right?" And
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, it looked like it. It looked like it." And then
Now, do you think Loki took the cosmic cube at the end
I don't know why
when he walked
wouldn't.
past it?
Why wouldn't he?
Right.
Why wouldn't he?
To already
kind of
make a deal with Thanos
Yeah.
at some point?
At one point, he's just going to be standing next to Thanos, like he was standing next to the not the collector, the
Jeff Goldblum.
but he's one of the not the endless, but he's one of the elders. Like there's the collector, and this guy was the grandmaster, and then there's who are the Ego is one of the
The Living Planet.
Right.
yeah, Ego the Living Planet. There's also whatever. I mean, there's the gardener. Remember the gardener
No.
from the comic books? He was like the collector was played by Del Toro or Benito.
Right.
Yeah, Del
Benicio
Toro.
Del Toro.
Yeah. And so Jeff Goldblum plays the Grandmaster. They are siblings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're all related, as is Ego the Living Planet, even though no blue lip, and also the gardener who created the blue thing on the moon, the sort of the blue zone.
Right.
It's where the Watcher.
Watches.
Oh,
Yeah, because it has air and stuff, and the Inhumans lived there for a while. You know who didn't live there? The Draculas.
Right.
It was when Deadpool goes to the dark side of the moon and fights the Draculas. I laugh, and he keeps calling them the Draculas, and they're like, "No, it's one guy named Dracula. We're vampires." He's like, "Whatever, Draculas," and it's very funny. Anyway, but Jeff Goldblum. It was, but I loved it. Did you?
Yeah, it was a really fun
it was
movie.
fantastic. The when we talked about this in the regular episode, but the fun that was the sense of humor. The last Thor I was not a huge fan of because it's a lot of
Because it was basically you and I talking about Lord of the Rings.
It was Lord of the Rings with a
last two
hammer.
Thor
You know what I
movies.
mean? It was
Yeah.
a lot of Glebe Norby business that I just couldn't get into.
You've got frost giants and dark elves.
Yeah.
Graham checks out.
I'm out. I'm out.
I was a little worried about how funny it was because I was like, are they doing so quippy because Guardians is so popular?
Right.
Because I liked a more serious, obviously this is taken from.
You're a long way from Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, very much so. And the further away from him we go, I'm happier. It's not my place. Kenneth Branagh, you're doing vital work out there. I know you're listening to Comedy Film Nerds. Anyway, but what I thought was, it was a bit of a mess. What I thought it was very much a graphic novel. Like it felt like 5 or 6 issues of a comic book where.
Why do you say that?
Well, because it was like the first part he's in the basket and he's fighting Surtur, right?
Right.
The fire giant guy. And I think in a comic book situation, 22 pages later, clearly the end of that one was with the reveal of fake Odin.
Right.
Loki. Okay, next, and then a month later you get a comic book and it opens up with Thor and Loki in the senior center, and then Odin dies, and then Hela follows them on the bridge, and then that one ends when they both get kicked off the bridge. Issue 2, right? Legacy issues, number 2. And then the 3 and 4 and 5 are like split issues where we follow Hela subjugating the Asgard, and Thor and Loki and Hulk, like parallelly. Like the first one, let's see. It goes, Hel subjugates Asgard and Heimdall steals the sword, and her and Scourge raise the dead.
Right,
and,
the executioner.
Yes.
So, but he doesn't stay the executioner.
Redemption.
Yes, he
which
does.
I love.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, but horrible guy. Feel free to kill him.
Right.
Redemption, but they're at the end of his life. And he essentially literally takes a bullet.
I think one of my out of all the jokes, and there were plenty of them in the movie, I think one of my favorite ones was actually delivered by Cate Blanchett when she's talking about the executioner. It's like, when you're the executioner, you don't just execute people, you execute a vision. But mostly you execute people.
She was so great.
Yes.
It was one of the best villains.
She freaking nailed it upon nailed it.
It was so
nailed it.
awesome. Her arrogance about, and we've seen this. We've seen somebody like a bad guy do this before. Like, you can't beat me, I'm so arrogant. But to have her do it was like, it's fucking brought something so new to
and
it.
Thor couldn't beat her.
Couldn't beat her. No one could beat her. No one could beat her. And she'd walk in there, and they're like, that one, I forget his name, who's like, you have taken the throne illegally or whatever. And she's like, all right, if you guys want to fucking, you should just,
watch me walk over your dead body.
I'm gonna eat your children, so go for it.
Her arrogance was amazing, and then she reveals the story behind the story when the false ceiling.
She breaks the fall.
And then you're like,
the original
Odin,
tiles.
Hello.
Yeah, Odin had a little sordid past.
Yeah,
like
who likes to whitewash the past, huh?
Wow, Odin hiding his daughter from everybody, like
yeah, and Hela, and it was craziness, and she just was just freaking awesome, and then, but she had such a great arc because her meeting the fire giant at the end, going, damn it, this was the prophecy, I can't beat the fire giant, and so. I'm sure she got sent back to Hela.
And Cate Blanchett
and now rules it.
And now rules Hell again.
Isn't she like the ruler of
she's the head of
the Hades or whatever, the Norse version?
Hell with one L.
Right.
And her name is Hela.
It's also too like Cate Blanchett hasn't played a lot of villains.
No, usually she's a good guy.
She's always the, pure as the driven snow, fighting the good fight. To see her just be like, I'm
actors and actresses always say things like, she accepted the role in the movie to please her children who are Marvel Comics fans.
She said that?
But Blanchett's eldest son, Dashiell John Upton, suggested she take the role of Hela, saying it be a career boost. Now, it fascinates me. It's like...
Why does your son have 3 first names?
Right. John Upton Sinclair would have been the best.
Oh, my God, it would have been.
But like...
welcome to the jungle.
She unfortunately has played a villain before, guys. If you remember the Crystal Skull. Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah. She played the Russian.
The Russian with the bob haircut.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot
she
about
probably
that.
had the time of her life, though.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And
Just
we
a
didn't.
horrible accent.
Like I always say that. Well,
didn't.
it's like I'm doing the Harry Potter movies for because my kids want me to do them. Like, really? You've never heard of this giant franchise before? You've never heard of Marvel movies?
Right. That's why Jeff Goldblum did it.
Right,
It wasn't because
exactly.
he needed work.
No. He loves that apartment app. That apartment finding app where you float through space and get a good apartment.
And it's not like Cate Blanchett isn't 50 and like, no, I need, anything? You got something?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I'm 50 and you're going to let me wear a bodysuit and kick ass.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in. Tell everybody I'm 32.
Exactly.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, I loved was, so Jeff Goldblum.
She's a good kick-ass 50. Give her a lot of credit.
She's 50, man.
Sure.
She's the new 30.
Yeah.
I love Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. Tessa Thompson
Yes.
was the girlfriend
That's
in
her name.
Creed.
Oh, is
Opposite,
she?
Yeah, she's the girlfriend in Creed opposite Michael B. Jordan. She's great in that. This was cool. I like this too because we've seen the unwilling hero that doesn't. She's a Valkyrie. I don't care.
Right.
I saw
She's the last Valkyrie.
I saw them all slaughtered. I'm not going back. I'm trying to think of. Have we seen a lot of women play this like boozy? I don't want to be a hero.
Tank Girl.
Reluctant
Tank
hero.
Girl. Wow.
That's going back.
Wow. Tank Girl.
I fucking love
the Lori
Tank
Petty
Girl.
masterpiece.
I fucking love Tank Girl. It makes me laugh.
That-
All the money
even
went
Buffy
into
wasn't
the tank.
boozy.
All the money went into the tank and to Jet's jet. Nothing went into the suits with the rabbit people. They were out of suit. They were out of money. Anyway, so
I gotta
she
say,
was-
I'm
I
sorry,
think
real
it's
quick
new.
though. We need to acknowledge the fact over 400 episodes, first time we've ever had a Tank Girl reference. I think on the show. I really don't think we've ever had one.
Rewatch
I think
Tank
we're
Girl.
getting. I think we're going to get a point of order on that.
Someone point of order us.
Episode blah blah blah. You referenced Tank Girl.
Okay.
All right.
But no, Tessa Thompson, she was great as Valkyrie.
Right.
And she was a badass. And those flashbacks, that was the only time.
That Loki thing? when he made her remember the flashback.
Yes.
That was super powerful. I loved that.
That was a good scene.
That was one of only like 3 scenes I think where I went, oh, now I wish I was in 3D.
Oh,
The Valkyries,
On
that
their
scene on
horses?
3D
Yeah,
and the
and the
horses,
Pegasuses? Yeah.
that
Right.
would have been fucking awesome.
yeah.
That's the one
Yeah.
scene I was like, ooh, 3D, that would have rocked.
That
So-
would have been great, and it was one of the 2 or 3 scenes, and offhand you'll probably remind me, is where I felt like it reached that other level of Marvel movie that I love. When it's not just quippy, superhero. I love a superhero. I love quippy. I love hero actiony stuff, but I like it when there's a point. I love it when, and the fact that Loki can make you remember the thing you don't want
Right.
to remember. And she was like, I fucking hate you.
Part of his wizarding powers.
Yeah.
Now-
the Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, the Doctor Strange cameo was great.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was really fun.
That was a great
And,
cameo.
and it was a great ending to the cameo. Like it looked like they were about to fight. It was like, oh, you're some kind of sorcerer. I'll show you. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, so awesome.
Don't let the portal hit you in the
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Just fucking, if you keep lipping off, I'm going to portal you.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
now-
fantastic.
so now
I've been
J-
falling for a half an hour.
Yeah,
That was such a great
that was
line.
great.
That was such a great line.
So now, Jackie, I have a question for you. At
Okay.
the Grandmaster's Tower, there were statuettes of his champions, and there were Easter eggs from Marvel Comics. Now they had the Greek god Ares.
Okay.
They had Beta Ray Bill, who is
Okay.
kind of like an alien Thor.
He's the alien. Yeah, he's the alien Thor. He's like a what is Beta Ray? Does he just look like a horse, or what am I thinking?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
it. And then Man Thing.
Oh, I missed that
So
one.
and then, but now the one I'd never heard of was the android monster, the Bi Beast. Who's that?
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know who the Bi Beast is.
Oh, all right, we're gonna get an email.
It's a fail, Cation fail. It's,
Should
I
have
was
had Flam on the show.
And they didn't have Throg. Yeah, they didn't have Throg, which is
No
the
Throg.
Thor frog. Thor frog is actually awesome. Thor frog is an actual frog that is Thor, and he hangs out with the Pet Avengers with Lockjaw, and it's great. I know I sound ridiculous. Frog
I feel
Thor.
like you're making something
There
up.
are
I
Pet
feel like
Avengers?
you're
Someone did make something up,
Yeah,
and they
just
made up the Pet. They made up the Pet Avengers. But I was going to tell you, the Valkyrie, they called her Scrapper 142 because the first time that Valkyrie, she was the last Valkyrie, right? And they just in the credits they just call her Valkyrie. Well, she had a name, and it was Brunhild, and she was in issue 142 of Hulk. It was was it a Hulk or was it it must have been a what I forget. Dang it! But it was issue 142 of the first comic that she was in 1972.
That is
I looked that up.
awesome.
I had to look it up, but I was like, why 142? You knew it meant something.
Because this is a big piece of the Planet Hulk storyline. Was
Yep.
this movie?
Yep, the scar. And I read it because Matt Weinhold insisted. He was like, here's a graphic novel about the Hulk. And I'm like, I never care about the Hulk, but I will take your graphic novel. And then it was great. It was fast. And I loved the Bruce Banner, I don't want to be the Hulk again. And you will notice, spoiler alert, where the whole episode is the...
Oh, real quick. Did we say that at the top of the show?
We forgot to say it. At
Oh,
the top.
too late. Well, you know what it's called. We're going to give away the
Yeah,
endings. We already
exactly.
gave away
It's a-
We started at the endings.
Right, and he doesn't turn back to Bruce Banner at the end of the movie. He's still the Hulk at the end of the movie.
Right.
And you're like, uh-oh.
That was I wanted to get into this more because that scene where Bruce Banner comes out of and Mark Ruffalo's all like, how long have I been the Hulk? And that scene with Thor, which was kind of funny, but also like, heartbreaking. Like, oh God, he's been stuck.
And you don't like me in Thor with his quippy. No, I like you better than the Hulk.
Yeah.
No, I like the Hulk better than you. And you're like, don't belittle the scene. I wanted the scene to have more gravitas.
Yeah.
But
That was a time where it was a little jokey. Although the laugh where he goes, I'm as important or I'm as much of a hero as, and he goes, really? Like that fucking made me laugh out loud.
What was the thing that the ship said? The strongest superhero or whatever?
Oh yeah, the strongest Avenger.
The
Yeah.
strongest
It's like-
Avenger.
and
that
it's
made
like, no,
me laugh.
Point Break. Yeah. But the one of the things I was really interested to see too is like the way they tied together like everything from Avengers and Civil War, like because when you watch the movie Civil War, your first two questions are like, well, everyone is in this except Thor and the Hulk. Where are they? and it ties in. Oh no, they were off on this other planet. Like that. That's how closely the timelines are watched in these movies, which is really cool. So to put everything together, like when we get the Avengers Infinity War, where literally everyone is going to be in them.
The greatest idea for a one-shot, Andy Ashcraft, my fella, the dude I'm married to, has the greatest idea. Remember in Ultron, Avengers Ultron, everyone was at that party except for Pepper and Jane Foster. Remember? Mm-hmm. And Andy wants there to be a one-shot where they're just at dinner during that party, like like a Bechdel test dinner where they're not discussing either of their boyfriends, and they're just talking about science and business and organizing their own lives. And they never, like, Thor doesn't come up, Iron Man doesn't come up.
That
just
would
Jane,
be awesome.
the greatest Marvel one shot never made, you guys.
They stopped making those.
I know it.
one-shots.
I know it, and it's not like they ran out of money.
No.
Yeah, they
that's
didn't have
true.
it in the budget.
And they got each one got better too. The Mandarin one was fantastic.
Oh, the Mandarin one was so good.
Yeah, it was like because the this is getting off topic a little bit, but when we remember when the Mandarin turned out to be basically an actor, and fans were upset that were like, well, no, you wasted an actual villain in the Marvel universe. Now we can't use that villain.
No.
In the one shot that came after that, it kind of sets up the stage that may not necessarily be the case.
No. They, I think that the thing is you can't. I mean, why wouldn't the Mandarin throw an actor as a decoy?
Right.
You know, because just to be murdered, and then he can still work from the background. The Mandarin's he's a great. I wonder who would play that.
Well, and the one shot was like, well, now the person who you're impersonating is kind of upset and he wants to meet you, so he breaks him out of prison to meet the actual Mandarin.
And it was Gandhi who played
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So what do we? Let's go into the actual ending, right?
Yes.
So Hela gets defeated by
the
giant?
fire
Fire
giant
giant.
monster,
everybody
Yeah,
gets
sorta.
away, sort of.
and Asgard gets destroyed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, the foundation's still there. That rock guy.
Right.
He's like, no.
That was the director too. That's
Oh, who played the rock guy?
probably the rock guy.
Okay.
Yeah. It was his voice.
It sounded familiar. I don't know why. It's what it sounded like. It sounded like one of the Flight of the Conchords guys.
Well,
That's,
yeah, he was
the New
heavily
Zealand?
involved in Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of they're on that ship, that freighter, with all the Asgardians.
The remaining Asgardians, except for
Right.
the army that she slaughtered.
Right. And at the end, the real Ragnarok comic book, all the Asgardians are killed, including Thor.
Really?
Oh,
In the
okay.
comic book, it took 3 years for him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bendis killed him. And
Doesn't Bendis kill everybody?
Bendis fucking kills everybody, you guys. And it's just like,
dick.
stop killing people. Just write an ending that doesn't involve killing people. The hero. It's and then it took 3 years to bring Thor back and everybody back. So, and then I think it was Aaron, or it was either Aaron. Yeah, it was Jason Aaron, who brought him back first, and then Straczynski, I think, when Thor comes back as Dr. Donald Blake. And he had an alter ego. I don't know if you ever remember. Anyway, and Loki was a lady in that comic book art. It was kind of weird. But there was a great... I digress completely from the movie.
No,
to tell
we're
you that
fascinated. Please continue.
there was a Jason Aaron arc before No More Mutants. It was probably 2003 or 2004, where Jason Aaron, one of the spin-offs of this giant crossover thing that Marvel does every fucking year. But there was one issue, and it was about a planet of Thors, and all the Thors were cops. The Thors were cops, and
with hammers.
with hammers. They all had hammers, and they were all different Thors. And the Thor that most related to, and it was when all the bad guys split up the universe, and Dr. Doom had a planet, and his police force were Thors, and it was the name of the comic, like if you get the graphic novel, I think it's just called Thors with a plural, not a Z. And Jason Aaron wrote it, and it was great. It was the one where on every planet in every parallel universe, somebody was going. I think it was Loki was going through and killing all the Jane Fosters.
Oh.
And
Wow.
yeah, so it was
In every universe.
in every universe, and they had missed. In the Thor universe, they had missed her, I think, and so they
she
had
got
to,
Sarah Connord.
She got Sarah Connor. They missed one, and then thus the regular timeline could be restored. Talk about a spoiler, you guys. But the Thors is actually really funny because the Thors all talk like Thors, and they talk to each other like Thors, and so it's really funny to say the word Thors a bunch. Anyway, so what do you guys? So they're all going to go back to Earth with the Asgardians. I'm sure the Norwegians are psyched about the influx of refugees coming from Asgard to live on that cliff.
Well, wasn't that where Odin
He
turned
said this
into
is
dust?
that's where he went into sparkle fairy dust.
So that might be the new Asgard. Norway.
Could be. You remember it was above Branson, Missouri for a little bit, or what? Where was it? Oklahoma?
Branson, Missouri.
It
By that
wasn't-
casino that
It was right
You're
above the
thinking
Indian
of Willie
casino.
Nelson.
There was a Thor that loomed over some tiny town, I think in Oklahoma, in one of the arcs as well. And I can't remember. It was when he came back, when Straczynski wrote him back as Dr. Donald Blake. For some reason, Asgard existed in the air above a city. And that's when Hammer came in and was like, "We own this airspace. You're gonna." Oh, it was Roxxon. It was not Exxon, but the bad guys in Marvel that are oil bad guys are called Roxxon.
Nice.
Clever twist.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Or
so
not Bobel.
the fracking that was going on, I think it was called. No, I don't know what it was called. So they're gonna come back and they're gonna what? Drag Loki's going back with them.
I mean, Loki even says in the end, "You sure you want to bring me back to Earth?"
Right.
Like says it. Do you really want to do this?
Yeah.
And I think what's my theory is, like I said at the top, is that he has the cosmic cube and he's going to give it to Thanos, and it's going to cause a ton of problems right from the get-go, launching Infinity War.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it is.
Because
That's
Loki's not going to walk by the cosmic cube and not take it.
There's no way. Yeah.
And where are we at here in terms of what are the next Marvel movies to come out, and then when do we get to Infinity War?
First of all, I have a quick question because I've been rewatching the movies. The Cosmic Cube, I thought, was with the Collector. Like at the end of was at the end of First Avenger, the Asgardians bring the Cosmic Cube to the Collector, and they say, why doesn't Asgard want to keep the Tesseract? And they say we can't have two Infinity Stones in one place.
Well, yeah, it never gets explained how it got back there.
Right. Well, except for remember, Hela is walking through that hall, and she knocked over the Infinity Gauntlet and said, "Fake."
Right.
So maybe Loki steals a fake Tesseract, fake Cosmic Cube.
Maybe. We won't know for a little while.
Right. Anyway,
By the
when
way,
is Infinity War? Is that 2019 or 20? Or
it's not next year, is it? Is it?
no, it might. I don't know.
2018.
Aaron might know.
Aaron, can you tell us when the next Avengers Infinity War movie is? Yeah.
The first of three.
Now, keep in mind too, 2017. This is the first year that 3 Marvel movies came out.
What 3?
Normally, it's just 2.
There's Thor.
Yeah, there was Thor, Guardians, and Spider-Man.
Oh, and Spider-Man was the crossover with Sony,
now
right?
technically, they made that
Yeah.
movie for Sony, but it was still a Marvel production.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic.
Man, the first time.
But remember when it was like
The
a big deal
Vulture.
when we would get one superhero movie in the summer a year, and then that was like, all right, well, this is the big summer blockbuster. I
Yeah.
mean, now this year we got 3.
Yeah, it's almost too many, except for that I love them.
As of now, Infinity War is slated for May 4th of next year.
Of 2019.
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
May the 4th?
Yeah.
That's going to
Be
be
with
a
you?
giant,
28th?
giant
2018.
movie.
Yeah, Infinity.
So then it goes. So Black Panther and then Infinity War, right? Or
Yeah.
That sounds right.
wow.
Does it have a listed budget on Infinity War? It's got to be $300 million at least.
Really?
It has to be.
Oh, because of staffing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Above the line alone,
Above the line alone.
It's $150 million in graphics.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that Black Panther movie, man.
Oh,
Are you guys reading either of those, or because it's Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I'm probably saying his name wrong, famous for many things. I can
Also, saying things too.
Yeah, he's an out loud guy. The
Yeah.
guy talks out of his face hole, and he's super smart. Got like probably Bruce Banner number of PhDs, and I know him because he writes the Black Panther. But he wrote Black Panther and Black Panther and Crew. Black Panther and Crew was him and Luke Cage in Harlem. It was pretty great. Only 6 issues coming out in a graphic novel. Get on it. Ta-Nehisi Coates. I would read anything he wrote, except for that some of it's hard, like it's nonfiction.
Oh wow! Well, let's. So, what are your some of your favorite scenes from this film, from this movie?
Oh, Jeff Goldblum chewing up scenery.
Oh God!
Oh yeah,
How about
hilarious.
How about the last line of the movie? Of the last line of his last line.
Which was?
Let's call it a tie.
Oh yeah, where he comes out of
from
the. Oh my God!
Yeah, the from the stinger. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a stinger. That's right. Let's call it a tie?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I freaking love you. You're outstanding.
You can't have a revolution without someone to overthrow. So, yeah, yep, you needed me.
Yep. So let's call it a tie.
Call it a tie. And I love they're like, what was the ship? It doesn't have guns. Oh, he would just use it for orgies. Like, just what is he doing?
Don't touch anything.
Right. It had kind of a little
Yeah.
PG-13 in the sex and language thing.
Yeah, and thankfully a lot of that went over to the heads of my children.
And it would. and that's
Yes.
I mean, I remember seeing, I didn't get Grease, when I was
Right.
11. And
Right.
really for the best. Because if
Yes.
you've watched Grease, it's filthy.
You know,
Anyway, so
it's completely filthy.
it's the Porky's for 11-year-old girls. So, first Porky's reference, tick. Tank Girl and Porky's.
Tank Girl and Porky's.
So what was your favorite? You got one?
Well, it was the Valkyrie scene. The Valkyrie flashback
yeah.
was my favorite
Yeah.
scene. I really that Tessa Thompson, just she's a young actress. She hasn't done much. I mean, so I really liked her in Creed. But this was so different, and
Yeah.
I just love her character realizing.
She was so great when she first her coming into the scene, like when she fell off her ramp, and then was like, "No, he's mine," and then she got her she got her gauntlets to work, and then she could transform her.
Yeah, she does all that, and then Thor's kind of like, "Oh, great, she saved me," and she's like, "Lights out, get in the cage." You know what I mean? Like,
That's
that
it.
was fucking great.
So
I'll
great.
tell you, I liked hearing, and you don't get to hear this very often, Led Zeppelin in a movie.
Oh yeah, it is
they
hard.
never license their music
Isn't
to
that
movies.
was that initial screaming song? Was that what that was
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
What
That's
is
what I
that,
like
Chris?
to.
What's that song called?
So,
That's Immigrant Song.
immigrant song, yes.
Here's my.
And Led Zeppelin also often referenced Tolkien in their songs.
Yes. So they were a bunch of nerds. What I like is that this is what I like to refer to Led Zeppelin as. That's screaming band, right?
Yeah.
I was
everyone
never into
loves them
Zeppelin.
so.
Never
People-
really gave a shit.
Oh.
The way
People
they
love
were
'em.
used in this movie was great.
It was
Yeah.
perfect.
How about this scene? Loki sitting next to Jeff Goldblum, sitting next to the Grandmaster, and Hulk does his thwap, 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 thwap with Thor,
right.
and he's like, "See how that feels?
Yeah.
How does that feel?"
That was fantastic.
Loki was great in this thing, and I love that Thor has started throwing things at him. That's the best.
Well, that's the thing I liked about it. That's such a great point. Is so Loki to me in the past, I wasn't a huge. It was sort of like he was a little two dimensional. In this movie, we got to see him be funny. We got to see, he does kind of have a heart, but the resentments of his brother. But you can't
But
trust
you still
him.
can't trust him.
You can't trust
Betraying,
him.
not betraying, betraying, not betraying. Yeah, like when Thor doesn't fall for the stealing of the leisure craft, that was great.
Yeah.
Right.
Where he's just like, why would you think? Why would you think that I would fall for it again and again and again? It's like, well, because you're not that bright.
Yeah.
And
I loved Carl Urban as Scourge. I loved his dilemma of just like,
I'm just the janitor.
he's this big badass who's just like, I gotta survive because this lady's gonna kill me. And then the dilemma of I gotta cut this person's head off.
yeah.
And she's just like, do it. And he's you see the fear, and it was like that was so awesome. He's
Yeah.
terrified of her. She's fucking pure evil. She can't be stopped. And what does he do? You know,
Yeah.
because he's just like, I gotta.
This is my job now.
I gotta,
That's my job
I
now.
gotta side with her so she doesn't fucking cut me open. So,
Right.
But she's horrifying.
She's horrifying, so I'm now the tool of the monster.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to be the tool of the monster anymore, which is, there's some redemption there, which is great. It's
Didn't last long.
didn't last long, but his monsterhood didn't last long. But he was such a dirtbag in the beginning when he had Heimdall's job.
Right.
So where he's just sitting there with the ladies talking about how he steals a bunch of stuff. Like he
Right.
has the 2 destroy. You know, he's got the which come back. Nice callback. Very
Right.
Chekhovian. Why introduce a gun into the
Yes.
plot if you're not going to
Yes, and I always love a machine gun that has no recoil and you can hold with one hand.
Yes. When will... Yes. Okay. So buddy film, though. Interesting buddy film, right?
Yeah.
Buddy film, but also like father-son film. And then...
The father-son I mean, the one-on-one scenes with Odin, you know, when Odin's sort of talking to, like...
Oh, like when he's channeling the
When Odin's kind of saying, like...
lightning in the end?
Yeah, I'm checking out. And
Right.
when they first see him in the old folks' home, and he's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, yeah, they're like, you got it. He's like, no, my time's over. I'm done. This is it.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming for
Had
me.
a good run.
Yeah.
I had a good run.
So now do you think Thor's going to get his eye back?
I hope so. I hate it when Thor... Because in the comics, there's a part where he doesn't have the eye, and you're like... It's a little too on the nose, his losing the eye.
Yeah.
And,
we already have that with Odin one eye. We get it. It's
we
in his
get
name.
it. Yeah, it's in his... Thor is... And then I want him to get his hammer back, too.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the Marvel Cinematic, who knows if they will.
Well, that was the great thing, too, that Hela just crushed it like it was fucking tinfoil.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah, she's clearly another level of Asgardian.
Oh.
And the power of the firstborn and all this stuff and the sorcery
And the goddess of death.
and the goddess of death. Sure she is. And which means Thanos would have loved her.
Yeah.
But as he courts death. And then let's see, I think I had another good Satan's anus. The dumbest joke in the world.
Yeah, that was, I was like, oh, come on.
I know.
Wasn't necessary.
Right. I like that you could be knocked off the Bifrost Bridge. I love that when they were in that scene where they both get knocked off. And
And there was a giant wolf, too.
giant wolf. Yeah. And
Everyone had something to do towards the end. Everyone had someone to fight, something
Yep.
to do. You kind of have to keep everyone busy.
That was
It's like an Avengers movie.
and I wonder, yeah, I mean that's going to be the hard thing with Infinity War because
Right. How are you going to keep everyone busy?
yeah, how are you going to keep them down on the farm after they've seen Perry?
Is it going to be 4 hours long?
There's 64 main characters in that film.
In Infinity War.
Yes, no budget listed. I can
Well, I guess
imagine
it's-
640 million.
Very and still no Black Widow. Like I want there to be a Black Widow Hawkeye movie.
I know.
If you're
Yeah.
good, if you're only willing to do buddy movies with these people, give them a buddy movie. Andy has the greatest plot for what happened. We remember Budapest differently. Remember that line from the Avengers?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This reminds me of Budapest. You and I remember Budapest differently. And Andy has a great plot for the and I can't remember what it is, but it's all about memory, which is another reason why I can't remember it. But it's about like somebody's memory being fucked with, but it's kind of. But that would be a great movie as well. Just the
Show what happened.
show what happened at the Budapest movie, please.
Well, and fans have been asking for that for years now, for
Yeah.
a Black Widow Hawkeye movie, but we haven't. I don't know if there's even one in development right now.
I think Harvey Weinstein was on it.
Oh.
I had to let that one
Way to
go.
go.
May not go
As
anywhere
in
then.
Scarlett
Harv.
Johansson, and had to go. I'm not gonna. I don't wanna.
Where else does Marvel go? What off of this? What do you look at
Well,
in this movie? And I
what-
mean,
what-
obviously we're talking about Infinity Wars, and
What-
we know
what-
Black Panther's coming out, but where?
What I think Marvel is going to do is the only thing they can do really is Infinity War is going to it's going to be 2 movies. So they're going to kind of wrap up all of the characters they introduced. They're going to slowly start introducing new characters and have them kind of take over like the franchises. Because I don't think we're going to see Tony Stark as Iron Man forever. I think they're
Yeah, he's got to be 54 years old, right?
Yeah.
But also the actors get tired of playing these roles. So you either have there's been other Iron Man characters, especially there's a girl that took over.
Rescue? No, that was Pepper Potts, and then Riri. Yeah, Riri. Yeah, she's in my Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Yes. So I think there's a lot of options, but what I love is if if I were as a fan, what I would like to see is a mix of the old and new, the way they're doing with Marvel and also with Star Wars, is where you introduce these new characters, but you also have the old guard still around, and you put them in the same. Like I
Star
like
Wars
seeing,
totally does
I
that.
like seeing everyone in the film.
Yeah.
And then you build from there. Then okay, well you've introduced these new characters, but you've also given me fan service where I see the old characters that I've already loved. So now I'm ready to go with the new characters and see where you go with them.
Yeah, and I mean, it'd be neat if there was some sort of like kind of Birds of Prey kind of, like a She-Hulk,
Right.
Spider-Gwen,
Mm-hmm.
just
I mean, how many people would know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were before the movie came out?
no one.
Yeah,
Absolutely
right.
no one.
You don't need they don't need to have a huge,
Any backstory.
none, or following, or everyone. You don't need that at all. Marvel knows what they're doing.
Yeah, if Cable shows up, everyone's like, oh, he seems arrogant, and then you're like, good guy, bad guy. You're like, well, can't tell, and so
He'll be in the new Deadpool movie.
will he?
Isn't Cable going to be in the new Deadpool
Yeah.
movie? Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Well, because he's a mutant, so that's under Fox.
Oh, okay,
So
that's right. Have you guys tried any of the TVs? Any of the TVs
yes,
programs?
I have actually.
Inhumans and
Inhumans, no, because that one got clobbered in the ratings. I'm like, if no one's liking this, I'm probably not going to enjoy it either.
right. And
I did watch Legion.
Legion.
And it got a little too crazy for me. Like I liked it, but I was like,
it was a mess, but it was interesting.
I'm tired of being confused every episode.
Yeah.
And
with
then we're watching as a family. We're watching The Gifted.
Oh, but what
So-
about? So it was like, but there's the two Daredevils, Iron Fist.
Oh, the Netflix
Defenders.
ones.
The
Yeah,
Netflix ones are great.
the Netflix ones are good.
Even Defenders
with the
and Iron
exception
Fist.
of Iron Fist.
Well, Defenders. I really like Defenders.
Okay.
Iron Fist.
No.
Is
No.
a huge problem.
Was
Now-
it the casting or was it the writing? Or
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, both.
Yes.
Both. He was
Yeah,
he was cast poorly.
Nothing worked about that series.
Well, if you remember, I remember watching who plays Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Okay, he was the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four,
Right.
and he was terrible.
Right.
And when they cast him as Captain America, I was like, no, let this guy, get this guy a paper hat and a spatula. I don't fucking want to watch him be a superhero. And then he destroyed he's amazing as
I went to the
Captain
gym
America.
first.
Right, sure. And
So you're saying that could be
that could be the Iron Fist guy.
It was
like
just
there might be
he's solid, but
Like-
here's the reason. Well,
Finn Jones could be a good character somewhere else in the Marvel universe.
yes.
with the right writing, he's
Right.
that's
he had his chance.
I don't know.
That's what I thought of Chris Evans.
It's kind of supported because he's not unbearable in the Defenders.
Okay. Just as part of a team, he was a little bit better. Or...
Yeah,
Well, because he kind of got carried by the other characters. But I'll tell you, it's like there's nothing about him as an actor that screams to me expert martial artist.
no, that's the problem too. I just think that actor is the one. If you look at most of those actors have heavy martial art backgrounds.
Okay.
Like the woman who plays Elektra, black belt. The woman who plays what's her name, Wing.
Nightwing?
No, Iron Fist.
Colleen-
Colleen Wing. She
Okay.
has a martial arts background. They
Misty
all,
Knight?
yeah.
Probably not. But
Yeah.
she could probably fire a weapon, and she's a cop.
Yeah. So,
There's only one arm now.
but he doesn't, and he's supposed to be. His character is a kung fu
Master.
like deity,
Right.
And so if that guy's martial arts
Yeah,
is a
his
little,
martial arts beat a dragon. So he should be pretty good.
so if that actor didn't come from like 15, 20 years of training,
Yeah.
you're gonna notice it.
You're
gonna
gonna-
see
and
a
you can
lot
totally
of
see it?
Starsky and Hutch
Yes.
haircuts running around there.
But yeah. Did you ever read the Brubaker Iron Fist?
No.
It's outstanding. It was the only I had never heard of Iron Fist. I read the Brubaker Iron Fist, and then I've never read an Iron Fist I liked since. But it's always weird what they choose to make a TV show out of. You're like, that guy? That had one, and granted, I think that Brubaker wrote it for probably 25 months. So there's probably 25 issues of it, but maybe more. But I want, yeah.
collected in graphic novel form. Can I grab it?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, just do Brubaker Iron Fist and it should all work out. But it's pretty great.
That's what I like when you're on the show. I get a reading list at the end of it.
We always get homework with Jackie.
Right.
It's like, are you reading anything good? And I'm like, I feel like I'm not reading anything, like book-wise. I want to brag about the nonfiction that I'm slogging through, but since I've been reading it now for 2.5 months and it's only 400 pages, I should be
What
done.
nonfiction are you reading?
It's a history of the library. It's a history of information. And so it's the history of libraries, monasteries, and laboratories. And it's called Reinventing Knowledge. And it looked light for nonfiction. And
The history
some
of
road reading.
the history of libraries and monasteries wasn't a quick read.
I thought it would be lighter.
Oh wow!
I thought I'd already be on the other book that I bought, which was the history of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I haven't had a chance to start it, you guys. And I've had a chance for it to stare at me from a shelf while I instead read.
Demanding to be read.
I read a Nassau Tech manual and it just didn't float through it the way I thought it would.
I weed off and I'm reading Lady Sherlock Holmes, you guys. I'm not saying I'm building character over here, is what I'm saying. I got some new Mary Barlow romance novels that I gotta slog through. Lisa Kleypas.
Oh, yeah. I need to find some kind of decent, not light, but like uplifting fiction because I've been reading like Noam Chomsky and Chris Hedges, and I'm like, oh, we're done. All right, yeah. America's been a scam the whole time.
A little more hopeful.
Yeah. There's a deep state, and they're controlling everything. Right.
The illusion of government is what it is.
It's
man.
fantastic.
Have you read Ready Player One? You must have read Ready Player One.
Ready
right?
Player One is fantastic.
Oh, that'll save you.
right.
And they're
Yeah.
making a movie.
Yep.
All right.
It's out next
Spielberg,
year.
right?
Yeah.
And I can guarantee the movie's not going to be like the book because the book would be impossible to shoot.
And the book is it's both adorable and heart-wrenching and actiony inside. It's essentially Hunger Games for 45-year-old nerds.
And if you grew up in the 80s, you'll be like, oh my God, this book was written just for me.
And Ernest Cline did indeed write it for you.
Okay.
You will love.
So Ready Player One.
All right.
That will be uplifting.
I'm getting it now.
By the way, Deadpool 2 will be out in June of next year.
Oh.
And we've got Josh Brolin as Cable.
Right.
So Deadpool comes out after Infinities. But Deadpool's kind of its own universe. It's not really in that world at all.
no.
I mean, he's Marvel, but
Right, but he's a disaster.
but he's Fox.
yeah.
Yeah, he's very Fox.
And I feel like the Avengers, if in that world, were like, have you heard of this Deadpool guy? Like, ugh.
And, right, yeah,
It's like he's a bar bouncer, and they're like,
right. It'd be more likely that he'll show up in a
I mean, they wanted
an
to use
X-Men.
They wanted to put Wolverine in Captain America: First Avenger as like a cameo because no one knows how old Wolverine is.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there were rights issues because of
'cause of-
Marvel Cinematic Universe
Right.
and Fox owns the rights to the mutants.
Yeah.
for,
I just
movies.
watched First Avenger and Winter Soldier again 2 days ago. It's pretty great.
nice.
And I'm in. I'm back. I'm
right.
I'm slogging through my DVDs.
Any closing thoughts on
Go
Thor,
see a movie.
Ragnarok other than go see it?
So let me ask you this: we all saw it in 2D. Would you recommend people seeing it in 3D, or do you not feel it's not?
Now that
necessary?
you've reminded me of the Valkyrie scene, I kind of want to see it in 3D.
I know.
Yeah.
I might just go to the Chinese theater and go.
That-
Can I just step in here for 5 minutes and just give me
to
some
see this
glasses?"
one scene.
Right. Instead of giving you $22,
Yeah.
how about I give you 12 and I
I-
go in for this half an hour in the
I'll
middle.
buy a $7 popcorn. Just let me.
I bought popcorn because I thought popcorn movie for sure. This one. Have you guys seen the new soda dispensers where you can mix all the weird? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a machine.
They're the best.
It's outstanding.
Cherry vanilla Coke Zero. Okay.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Thank you, New Jersey.
I'm back. All right, Jackie Kashian, where can people find you? You've got some comedy shows coming up. You're doing your skits and bits.
I'm doing my skits and bits at Jackie Kashian on all the social medias, JackieKashian.com. I got the Dork Forest podcast where I talk to people about what they love. And I got the Jackie and Laurie podcast where Laurie Kilmartin and I talk about stand-up comedy, which we love.
And where do you sell shirts on that podcast?
Oh, let me tell you a little bit about comedyfilmnerds.com.
What a
the
fine
store.
facility.
You can get my DVD as a download from Comedy Film Nerds at the store. It's called This Will Make an Excellent Horcrux. And that is the video of me telling jokety jokes. And then you can also get some of my T-shirts and stuff and CDs from the store there. But also, those are Dork Forest T-shirts. You can get Jackie. It's the only place to get Jackie and Laurie T-shirts online.
Exclusive Jackie and Laurie swag, everybody.
And the Jackie and Laurie logo on that T-shirt about the size of the repulsor, the Iron Man
Nice.
repulsor. So know that in your heart.
And let it cover it.
So go to comedyfilmnerds.com and cover your heart. All right, that's our show. Thank you,
That is our
Jackie.
show.
Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, keeping it real on the hot stick. I don't know what that meant. Wow, I don't know what that meant. I was
Fell
gonna
apart
s-
right there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
The
ones and
11th hour.
twos, but a lot of people say that, and so I backed off of it, and then all I had was hot stick.
You should have gone binary, zeros and ones.
Yeah, on the zeros and ones.
Yeah. Flip it around.
Only Jackie Kashian would make that
Nerd.
joke. Nerd, nerd, big
All
nerd.
right, you have your reading list.
You guys know what your homework assignment is. My name is Graham Elwood.
And I'm Chris Mancini. And as always, remember,
Han shot first.
Hot shot first.